And that's why you always... No, that's not what it is. It's like, and now...
Oh my goodness. Knowing
is half the battle.
And that's why...
wow.
Welcome to Curiosity Public Ditch.
Jules.
Dylan.
Welcome to yet another episode of our Ultimate Spirits Competition, our quest to review every sipping spirit on the face of the planet and subject it to our ultra-hard 100-point scoring system. And in this episode,
Dylan's gone.
Oh, we don't have glasses.
Again. Who puts the show together? Jeez.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. And in this episode, guys, Stellum. Not Stella. Like Stella Artois.
Stella!
No, after the Stella.
Stella! Streetcar name desire. Stellum Bourbon. Bourbon, which is from barrel.
Bourbon.
The misspelled barrel.
Barrel.
Yeah, look at that.
You can always depend on the kindness of strangers.
Look at that. Stellum Bourbon, 57.49%. We're at 114.98 proof. Good looking bottle. I mean, kind of nondescript, good color to it. That's what the back of it looks like. Now, so this is Indiana sourced MGP that is put together by Barrel Bourbon, and this is kind of their regular release, because we've complained a lot about Barrel in the past, about how everything's a one-off and it doesn't make sense to review it, because if we review batch 11, you're going to get batch 12. It's going to be completely different. This is their claim to consistency here, so I'm a little bit excited about it. It's a nice proof point. Price point on this, I think it's like around $55-$60.
Ooh, nothing.
Dylan, why don't you give us a little more background? I'll get us poured.
All right, so...
Wow. Rich boy here.
55. All right, so Stellum Spirits started in March 2021. And I think the entire intent of the company is to provide consistent releases, right? So where you're not going to see things from year to year change that dramatically. And the way they achieve that is, this is like from the company, quote, they use a daisy chain blending technique.
You're no daisy.
Yeah,
I'm not Huckleberry.
They argue that a large portion of what they make is blended, but then the rest is topped off with another recipe, and then kind of adjusted over time. Mm-hmm. Just kind of constantly blended. It's like a, But
they're always trying to achieve the same flavor.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of this weird, atypical Solera technique. I think that's what they're trying to go for.
So they're probably vatting it at that point and then adding to the vat, you think?
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. So, that's kudos, because they're looking for consistency, which is what we love, right? We want to taste the technique. Regular. We want to taste the craftsmanship. Yeah. So awesome. I'm excited.
All right. Well, speaking of consistency or lack thereof, we're going to be comparing this to Smoke Wagon because this is another Indiana-sourced MGP product and we happened to grab a batch. This is batch 79 that is almost exactly the same proof point. So this is 57.74, whereas the Stellum is 57.49. So very, very close in proof. Both of these are blended Indiana MGP products. So for our members of Curiosity Private, you're going to get to see us do a head-to-head between these two. But let's kick into our review of the Stellum and get tasting, guys.
Yeah, one thing to note, it won a lot of awards. If you want to know, yeah. So it won the San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Who cares?
That's the only one that matters.
Ultimate Spirits Challenge.
That's the only one that matters.
What's the Ultimate Spirits Challenge? That's the Ultimate Spirits Competition, which is our show.
Right.
We're a knockoff.
Oh, I love that. The Ascot Awards, the John Barleycorn Awards, LA Spirits Awards, New York International Spirits Competition.
Nobody has put a medal from the Ultimate Spirits Competition yet on their promoting page.
It's too hard. Like if you this is too hard. It
doesn't even exist.
It's too late usually, I think. And it's also, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we've had some time to taste. We've had some time to score.
Time to drink.
And we're going to reveal our scores in just a second. But first, Jules is going to give you our scoring system in less than 2 seconds.
We do have a 100-point grade system across 10 categories that include aroma, flavor, body, complexity, balance, finish, uniqueness, drinkability, aesthetics, and value. We weigh flavor at 20 points, aesthetics and value at 5 points each. You can medal in our competition. We score above a 60. We go from bronze, silver, gold to diamond.
All right, guys, let's reveal our initial scores. Again, we haven't seen each other's scores. We haven't discussed this at all. We've all scored it independently. We're about to discuss it, so these scores can change as we go through our discussion. Sometimes we reevaluate things and numbers can change. So my initial score, 78.
Oh, pretty good.
79.
Oh,
Okay. 72.
all right.
Okay.
Mr. Meany over there. All right, guys, let's kick this discussion off with our discussion of aroma. Let's get our scores. I give it an 8.
I give it an 8.
I give it an 8.
Oh.
Unanimity. Probably the best part of this.
No, I disagree.
It is.
Really good part of it.
It's a really good part.
The best part.
Great flavors coming through. So much honey.
Honey.
Honey is
vanilla.
the prevailing theme of this drink.
Thank you. Flower honey. I wrote flower honey. I think the issue that
I wrote honey and then I drew a line all the way down because it encompassed every aspect of this dram for me.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is that the reason why it's not 9 or a 10 is because when I'm seeking the kind of additional aromas, what I'm searching for, I was looking for the jam, I was looking for the sugars, I was looking for like the molasses and stuff like that. The ethanol burn kind of kept interfering with the enjoyment of the aroma. It's
proofy.
And so that's why it's not a perfect 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
But I think it was solid. I thought it was really good. I think it starts off really well, the presentation. I could see why people gave it the awards.
Yeah.
You know, the first thing they're gonna do is nose the thing, and they're gonna like, okay, this is honey.
Oh, so you think they gave the award just on the nose?
I don't know what they do. I mean, like my obviously like my 72 translates to like
a 94,
a platinum in some of these awards.
All right, guys, let's move on to flavor. I got let's get our scores for 17.
17.
16.
Yeah, I mean, I got a light overall flavor hit on the palate, and I kind of docked that more on body than I did on flavor because I liked the flavors I was getting. I was getting this really clear spice component and this really clear honey component. I thought they were delicious. So
Same here.
I see some shortcomings, but I docked that more on body than flavor personally.
Same.
Okay, so I would say it has the sweet fruits, it has ripe fruits, it has the soupçon of flour with an emphasis on the P. And what's missing is the minus of the jam. Like, I wasn't getting the jam. It was very skewed in one way.
Yeah, it's all
what
honey.
I had.
Honey,
what I
dude.
had
It's
was
not,
very good.
This isn't a fruity dram.
I'm not seeing kind of like this very, very complex, complicated presentation, and so. I originally had it at a 17, and then I had it again, and I'm still looking for that jam, and I felt like it was starting to get a little bit thinner and thinner as I tried it again and again.
Yeah.
And ultimately I decided to knock it down 1 point.
Why you're wrong is that this is more about the intensity of the flavors that exist here. It's not about the variety of the flavors so much for me, but like the honey was so pure, so crisp, so clear.
Then go drink honey.
The spice components work.
Go get honey. You're gonna get pure honey over there.
I'm drinking bourbon, dude.
You said you wanted honey.
No, I'm saying
what I want is bourbon.
Flavor that comes through here, the honey component is so clear and so crisp. Like, you got to give it points for that, man. Like, I don't know, it worked for me. Julie?
I guess your Christmas gift is just going to be a bottle of honey or a box of honey if I can find the box.
It doesn't come in boxes. You don't.
You gave that as a gift. Repeat gifter. No, I'm the same. Like the flavors I got in here, so I give it a 17. What I liked was, well, yeah, and then everything on the nose I was getting carried through on the palate, and that was exactly what I was expecting. So it was great.
All right, let's move on to body. Weakest category for me, 6.
Yeah, it's funny. I was teetering between 7, 6, and then I only landed on a 7 for body anyway.
So I had it at a 7, but. Yeah. After trying it and everything.
It's weak.
Yeah, I'm going to go down to 6.
Yeah. I think this is the weakest part of it for me. Like, the way it hit my palate was weak. Everything flavor-wise, I think, is great. It's just it doesn't have the heft
I imagine.
It still coats nicely.
Wait, I imagine this is what it tastes like when you guys like dilute it with a lot of water. And when people say, "Oh, it enhances the flavor because put some drops of water," this is what I imagine it to be. But that brings down the body, and I think that's what's happening here.
Agreed. All right, let's move on to complexity. I got such a nice spice and honey melange. I give it an 8.
I originally gave it an 8 and I landed on a 7.
Yeah, I gave it a 7, and I want to call out Dutch on this. He keeps saying the same word over and over again. Honey.
It's a honey bomb,
It's
dude.
a singular description. It's a singular description of this liquor, and yet he thinks that this is complex. How does that work? The numbers don't match up,
Because it
right?
has so many
He's saying,
things that
let
a
me
bourbon
let me
has.
tell you how complex it is. It tastes like honey.
Well, you didn't let me finish.
What does that even mean? What does that mean? He just said honey how many times? Is there a counter up here that says honey?
Honey is pretty complex.
It is so complex because it tastes like honey. What? What are you talking about?
Are you done?
All right, let's move on to balance. Let's move on to balance.
I think there's a lot of good flavors going on here. The spice is multidimensional. The sweetness is multidimensional with this overpowering honey that is so delicious. Oh my gosh! It
is really good.
It's fantastic.
So it's like Dutch is tasting like New York rooftop honey, plus Yucatan.
That was really good.
The honey from his backyard, honey at the farmer's market, and it's like, wow. It tastes like honey.
It's gonna be. Replay it 100 times. Okay, guys, moving on to balance. I give it an 8.
I gave it again. I started an 8. I gave it a 7.
I gave it a 7.
I think for what's here, and again, I mean, look,
mostly.
Well, hang on. Though.
Honey.
Let's talk. Maybe I'm wrong on complexity, but I think between the honey and the spice, perfect levels for me. Perfect levels. Like this is what I really liked about it was that I got all the spice I wanted from the dram, and I got all of the sweetness I wanted for the dram, and they were not perfectly balanced, but very well balanced. 8-level balance.
It's so complex. It has honey and spice.
I'm talking about balance, dude. But those two,
I can't fault your balance. I mean, like,
I think the balance is excellent. I think you guys are a little bit low. I mean, like really, for what the flavors are here, how would you want them to be presented differently?
I don't know. In a honey bottle.
That's aesthetics. As far as the flavors come across here, I think you guys.
Let me ask you: is this your honey barrel? Everything's a honey barrel.
I have never. I've rarely gotten this much honey in a dram. I really haven't. But I think for the levels of the honey and the spice, I don't know how they could be different and still work. I think that they are balanced much better than you guys are putting on here.
At a 7? No, that represents
that's average.
That's above average.
That's a little bit above average. This is a point higher. I think. I think what they've done with the spice and the honey.
Spice was a little turned down.
If I were to say to somebody like, "Hey, you like spice and honey?" This is a great representation.
I couldn't say that because I'll say like, if you want honey, yeah. I don't know if this is like all
I get a
the
good amount of spice
there.
on the palate.
Please put the honey meter, okay? The other thing is, I would say the finish component really kind of bled into my analysis of the balance too.
No, fair enough.
Okay.
And so that's why it couldn't really go above that number.
Let's move to finish, which I thought was excellent. I give it a 9.
Yeah, I really like this finish. I give it a 9 as well.
Yeah, I gave it a 6. Yeah.
Dylan is broken.
This was a medium length finish.
Completely gone.
No.
Completely gone.
No way, dude. This lingers. I still can taste the honey.
Me too.
It
I
was
get
an
the honey.
incredible finish.
And then this is actually where the spice came out for me, was on the finish.
One of the first scores I wrote down because I just I took that first sip and like, oh, this is still here.
It's lingering.
It's still here. It's still here.
And it's beautiful.
I mean, I will say I envy you. I envy you guys because clearly it's so
Take
simple.
another sip. Look how little he drank compared to us.
So simple.
Oh, God, you didn't drink any of this.
Very
It's like he
simple.
took one sip. He's like, this sucks.
Whatever.
Man, I'm gonna.
Whatever.
You know,
Irrelevant.
I'm so glad. I'm really happy right now because I can get this for your Christmas every year for the rest of your life,
great.
and you'll be satisfied.
Yeah, I'd be happy if you actually really did your job and drank the dram.
Oh.
I'm tasting it right now.
Ooh, that was beautiful.
There is no finish. There is no finish.
I know, he's just going to dig it.
There's really no. There, you know what happens? I'm not even getting the honey at the end.
Oh, man,
it's just white sugar at the end. It's just white sugar at the end.
Honey.
It's not honey. It's just sugar at the end.
All right.
Well, hey, look. Oh, you know what? Okay. Hey, you know what? You know what? For the cocktail generation, this is perfect. This is sweet. What? This is super sweet. No. You put tons of sugar in there. You want to put some honey in there. No. You know, put the sodas.
Really high silver.
Corn
That's
syrup.
all I'm saying.
Whatever. You know, whatever you want.
All right.
It's fantastic.
I fly with SS.
No, it's great. It's great.
I fly with
fantastic.
SF
Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Lonely Island.
You know what? If Dylan hadn't seen that SF Spirits,
I know exactly. This would be so high. This is like diamond for this guy.
Okay, guys, moving on to uniqueness. There's aspects of it I think are really unique.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was too shallow.
Yeah.
I gave it a 7.
Same. Gave it a 7. I actually even started at an 8. You can see.
What'd you give it, Dylan?
I mean, the way you described it so far, it seemed like it should have gotten a diamond, and then you go, it's kind of shallow.
I gave it a 78. Dude,
I gave you
nobody's saying this is a diamond.
I gave it a 6. I gave it a 6 in uniqueness. I give the extra 1 point.
You're a point off.
The fact that it has honey.
No, to me the way that the honey and the spice.
I'm missing the jam. I'm missing the oak.
The honey,
I'm missing like the depth and
there's spice
and the richness.
You're wrong because of the spice.
All of the variety of
spice.
Fruits.
You're completely forgetting about the spice.
I would even challenge you. I'd give it another point just for a barrel because if this is going to be the regular, consistent offering, that's unique for them.
And at this price
point, 1 point at this price point. Come on,
you know what?
That's one other bonus point right there.
Did you already tell them what we're gonna compare this to?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little more expensive, but it's okay.
Yeah, you're gonna eat your words.
I actually agree with you, but yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to drinkability.
That was awesome.
This really works for me. For my palate, I give it an 8. I could easily sip on this.
I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
For me, this is like you know what it is. It's
clearly.
Dylan loves sipping on this.
I try to be a professional. I try to pace myself a little bit. So
we don't.
I'm here to drink.
It's like if I went to Carl's Jr. and they gave me like a soda. It's very, very drinkable. Okay, so I'm gonna say, oh yeah, Sprite, great. Drinks like Sprite.
It's very drinkable. Let's move on to aesthetics. Kind of blah for me. I give it a 3.
I give it a 4.
Yeah, barely gave it a 3.
Yeah, I'm with you. I barely gave it a 3.
Really?
It's really bland.
I mean, it's different for a barrel.
You know what I think about is like,
but I mean, if you're looking at other bourbon offerings,
that's literally what we're doing.
No, I know, but I mean, I was comparing. I'm comparing it to like the barrel.
If it was in the regular,
it wasn't in the barrel bottle,
I would prefer it in that. That's a more unique bottle. Like think about I think if you think of average bourbon.
I mean, it looks like a wine bottle.
Compare Wild Turkey has its own bottle, Woodford has its own bottle, Buffalo Trace. This is just a wine bottle.
You know what I like about this though?
But I like the label.
You know what I like? It matches my my shirt.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They did.
You do have that time.
For using this bottle shape, they did as good as they could have done. That's why it ended up at a 3.
All right, I'm dropping it down to 2.
Okay,
you guys convinced me enough. Because you're right. If this was in the barrel bottle, it would
have been better. I agree.
And then put this sticker on there.
Don't you think Dutch should be having like an academic orgasm here because you can see all of the dram, right? You see the liquid.
It's too much labeling, dude. Too much labeling. I want the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. Value out of 5 points. I think for what I ended up at, which was a 78 for a $55 bourbon, I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4. Yeah.
I think
it's appropriate for the price.
The regular offering. Holy moly!
It's a little bit better than most of the stuff that's coming out price wise, but it doesn't blow me away. Like I was actually kind of thinking we should have blinded this to Woodford. Or something like that that's in like the $30 range because I think like a $30 traditional bourbon it's going to be different, but it could outpace it. Might outpace this.
Yeah. Well, so for you, that means that I don't have to get the 4 Roses single barrel. Small batch select for you because you think that this is superior to that.
I don't.
You are saying that
this is just for value, guys. You're getting pretty decent from barrel at $55.
You give it a 5?
Yeah.
How does that even work?
What do you mean?
You think that this is the greatest value on
from other barrel products that I know now I'm getting consistency?
If you only are talking about bourbons released in the last 2 years, then I kind of understand what you're saying.
That too. I mean,
No, I don't. That's not how this works.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, this is, if we're taking into account all of the bourbons that are available on the market,
of all time,
I think it's not bad.
it's dude,
But I don't think it's perfect.
Barrel?
You gave it a perfect. This is you, Jules.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you know what?
You convinced me to go down.
You know what?
Just for that. You know, I wrote the 5 like a 4.
So it's a 4.
So it was
All
a
right.
4.
Okay, good. So we agree on that.
Yeah, the
Oh, wait,
only-
unanimity, guys.
Wait, you know what? The only reason, let me just say, the only reason
That's fair. That's
it
fair.
gets
I
a
was thinking
4
more like I was giving a bonus point to
It gets a 4 because of in this state of bourbon that they came out with this at 55.
Right.
Okay, but the reason I gave it a 4 and not a 3 actually is the honey component.
It's very
Because
unique,
you're getting,
isn't it,
you're
Dylan?
getting a value of that. You know,
Did you even
have
taste
to
anything?
incorporate that.
Did you?
You know what it is? I'll bet you guys gave me like a triple.
Oh, what?
Oh, whatever,
But,
dude.
you know, this
roll
number-
the tape.
roll
Roll
it
the
back.
tape.
This number tracks. This number tracks. So
It does track. All right, guys, let's get our final tally.
Dutch has had this for a year now, and this is all he drank.
No. All right, guys, let's get our final tally for Stellum from Barrel Bourbon. My final score remained the same at a 78.
I dropped 76.
I gave it a 71.
Which gives us our official score for the Ultimate Spirits Competition for Stellum Bourbon from Barrel Bourbon. It's a rock hard, a rock solid.
It's rock hard, baby.
Wow. Count me out.
Dead center silver at 75.
75.
Count me out. Count me out. I mean, first of all,
Well, you like
know,
rock hard.
No. Like,
You are wearing the G.I. Joe shirt.
You are.
he calls out.
Isn't Rock Hard one of the G.I. Joes?
He calls out the Lord's name in vain, and then he starts doing some
I did not
non-Puritan
take
stuff.
anybody's name in vain, dude.
Oh, terrible.
All right, Jules, please take us out of this train wreck.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. Either way, let us know. Subscribe for more videos from Curiosity Public.
Forget the name of this.
Hey, you put a question mark right here.
Forgot.
We got shirts.
We got shirts. Links in the description. If you want to help our channel out, please consider joining Curiosity Private. It's a membership program here on YouTube. We are also on Patreon.
And for our patrons and our members, we're going to be comparing these two momentarily.
Nice. Yeah, you want to check it out. We also have a podcast on all major podcast platforms out there. As always, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay curious.
Rock hard.
What was that?
I was thinking like dead center, and for some reason Rock Hard came out. I don't know why.
Rock hard.
Swear to me.
Swear to me.